Do you ever feel like your brain is saying, you got this, and your heart is saying, no, better not. Let's fix that today. Hello, I'm Stephanie Toma, and I'm here to help you step into your most authentic self that's also pretty confident. And I would like you to trust yourself like you trust yourself when you order your favorite ice cream flavor, okay? Think of trust like your inner GPS. It's calibrated, you will always find your way. Low self-trust feels like you're saying, I don't know what I want for dinner every single night of your life. It can really be a matter of tuning into what you really desire and getting clear on what your values even are so that you can live in accordance with them. Oftentimes, people that have low self-trust are looking externally. What do people want from me? What would make people happy if I were to embody or be that way in front of them or with them or for them? That's performative and that does not lead to high self-trust. So, what we want to do is reverse that trend if it is a trend in your life and invite more peace of mind. With more self-trust, you'll make better decisions and you'll have the confidence to say, yes, I do deserve the last slice of pizza. You may consider making a promise to yourself that you will keep that is not so serious. So while I do advocate for things like, okay, I will work out 3 days a week for 30 minutes, doing weight training Monday, Wednesday, Thursday from 8 to 8:30, that is really actionable. That's the kind of goal that it's pretty clear if you did it or not. And the idea is to make things clear so that you can follow through on them. So if you want to dive into something that's productive, go ahead and do it. But why not have a little fun? And if you need to tell yourself that, okay, it's productive, maybe this is for your mental health, okay? Give yourself a little wiggle break. Tell yourself that every day, maybe around the same time, or maybe spontaneously when the urge strikes, whether you're in public, whether you're in private, you're going to just go ahead and bust out some dance moves and kind of like wiggle and just be silly and playful. This is a great goal to have, especially if you feel like you're in your head a lot and maybe overthinking or not really in your body. Do you ever feel like you're kind of just like a floating head? Where all these thoughts, and then, okay, great, you have hands to type everything that you're thinking in your head. And this is really about being embodied, which will also help you get attuned to what you really want and what you desire so that you can live in accordance with them to trust yourself more. Let this also be your invitation to reframe past mistakes. You may want to check out my video, Why You Can't Actually Make Wrong Decisions, Life-Changing, because it is freaking life-changing to know that you can't make a mistake. But if you find yourself replaying past mistakes in your head, here's what I want you to do. Reframe the story. To keep it light, you can apply this to something heavy, but we're going to keep it a little lighter just for the sake of having this be a little more fun. So let's say that you wave at someone and they don't wave back, and then you realize, oh my gosh, that's not who I thought it was. Let's tell the story in two different ways. So, in one way, you're waving, you're so excited, you're like, oh my gosh, this is my friend I haven't seen in so long. And all these memories start flooding back of the times when you were a little kid and you were playing, and you have this moment of waving where you can't tell if they don't see you or if they're just really sort of caught up in the moment. Maybe their mind is wandering, and then they give you a look and for a moment, your heart sinks. Either they don't recognize you or they're just not the same person anymore. Maybe the relationship that you once had just doesn't even exist. It's like it was wiped clean. Versus another way to tell that same story is you see this person, they look familiar, they look like they used to be your best friend. What? So you go ahead and you wave at them and you notice that they're not really seeing you. So you get a little closer and they're really not responsive. And you kind of realize, oh, I guess it's not them. And you both laugh, but then you keep talking with them anyway. And you tell them, oh my gosh, I thought you were so and so, so embarrassing. And then they say, oh, don't worry about it. And you get to talking, and then you actually both become friends. So notice that they're a very similar situation. One shut you down and the other opened a door. So you can't go back in time. This is actually a little more going into the future with what you can do. But sometimes it's actually enough to rewrite the story, not to fool yourself into thinking that your life has been led in a totally different way. But what if you were to rewrite the story and let it be enough that in the future, moving forward, that is what the type of behavior that you will invite into your experience. So it's not always about harping on, wow, this has been a consistent behavioral pattern and it's really holding me back. It's like, okay, let's rewrite the script. And if you have trouble thinking abstractly of new experiences that you could have, go back and rewrite some old ones. Again, not for the sake of dismissing and disowning your reality, what actually happened, but to give yourself a North Star that is clearly laid out when or if you find yourself in a similar circumstance. Because oftentimes, when we have key life lessons to learn, we are thrust into similar situations until we go about things differently. Another game that you can play either by yourself in journaling or maybe with a friend is what would you do? And there's even a TV show, I don't know if you've seen it, it's called What Would You Do? And there are hidden cameras, and there are these wild situations that people find themselves in where someone's being rude or maybe someone needs help. And it's essentially this hidden camera game show where the situations aren't real, but the people's reactions kind of are. So there's this opportunity to allow yourself to think of maybe even best case scenarios. Ooh, what if this happened? What would I do? So you're kind of rehearsing success and not to confuse that with thinking, oh, this has to happen or this is the only way, but let's open up the realm of possibilities to potentially even shift your timeline as you're cultivating this greater self-trust. And it's another game that you can consider if you even have a coin. I know that many of us don't even have cash on us anymore, but if you have a coin or something like it that you can flip, and maybe you attribute one side to making one decision, the other side to making another, you will learn pretty quickly if you actually were hoping for the opposite outcome. So that can help you attune to your self-trust even more. That being said, it's not always instantaneous. Sometimes we do have an inclination one way or another that's pretty subtle. If we envision ourselves in one of the two scenarios, assuming that we've narrowed it down to two, just being in that situation and saying, okay, the decision's made, even if it's really not, can enable you to have a physiological response and understand where you might authentically want to go from there. Another thing that you can do is celebrate small wins. What this does is increases your confidence in yourself, and it could be that you made a promise to yourself. It could be that you gave a presentation and maybe you did well or not, whatever, but you're celebrating the fact that you did it. And when you celebrate the small wins, not to be confused with resting on your laurels and not trying anything ever again, but when you give yourself the time, energy, and attention that you deserve or that you would give your best friend in certain situations. Oh, hey, awesome, go you. When you start to positively reinforce yourself, that also allows you to build that muscle of self-trust. Here are a couple of ways that you can ramp up your self-trust. One of them is to take a small risk. Is there something in the back of your mind that you have thought about doing, but you've said, okay, when I have more experience, or maybe when I'm feeling more confident, when I'm more fit, when I'm fill in the blank, allow that to happen now. Allow yourself to expedite your own timeline and lead with excitement versus fear of what could go wrong, because there, the universe has a way of opening doors for us when we actually entertain the idea that we could be ready for it. And you can even future vision in this way of writing out to yourself, I once trusted myself to fill in the blank of that audacious goal that you feel like either the highest version of yourself would do or someone that's not you, but that's totally rocking it would do. And allow yourself to get really detailed. Oh my gosh, this is how it felt to actually do it. And this is how it feels now that it's actually something that I've accomplished. It's done. And whatever that may be, whatever thing that you have that there could be a slight resistance to, whether it be uniting with the love of your life, whether it be uniting with your dream job, whether it be creating, let's say, a project that is really artistic and really abstract that you're not sure anyone will understand, but you know it's in your soul. And allow yourself to give yourself a spoiler alert that, oh yeah, it was awesome and it's going to be awesome. And you don't need to tell anyone about this future visioning because I'm of the belief that a lot of our big audacious goals, it's better to have those conversations with ourselves and do them and have those conversations when it's actually real with other people. So then we stay true to our own energy and self-trust in the process, and we're not relying on external validation or motivation from other people when it comes to those things. And not to say that other people can't help us, because they certainly can, but yeah, feel it out. Use your self-trust to determine how externally facing you'd like to be about certain goals or certain desires or visions that you have for yourself in your life. Now, go ahead and share what is an instance in which you trusted yourself and it really worked out a little bit or a lot. Put it in the comments because I'm sure someone will be able to read it and really get value from it. And you also might want to go ahead and click subscribe and the little filled in bell so that you'll get notifications of videos like this. I love going over topics that help instill confidence and your belief in yourself so that you can live more of the life that you want to live. Wishing you a beautifully connected day. Until next time.